What's going on, everybody? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment. Now, we've gotten the news that Ben Simmons will not be he won't be suiting up for Philly and going back, to face Philly. He won't be there. Uh, and according to reports, he's still having, that back issue is still lingering. So he said. Now, look, man, I just find it odd, very, very strange that just a few weeks prior to you going, I would say like maybe about a month. I can't recall, but it was a few weeks prior to you going to Brooklyn. You was over there in the gym lighting it up with St. Joe's. I think that had to have been maybe, I would say like a month and a half prior, man. But either way, you were still playing. I don't sit here, man, and try to question anybody's health. But what I will in what's in question right now to me is Ben Simmons' integrity. He lacks integrity for the game, and more importantly, he lacks mental toughness. Now, people can get up here and they could defend him all they want to. They could say, but this and but that, and make all these excuses for him. The bottom line is that he doesn't want to face Philly. He doesn't want to face them. And I mean, if you were really about that life, if you were really that player, if you were really an alpha, which you're showing not to be, then you would want to face them. You would want to show them, okay, hey, look, you're not with. I'm not on the team anymore. This is how I'm feeling towards you, and then that's what you do. You inflict how you're feeling upon them in a competitive way. That's what competitors are supposed to do. But for Ben Simmons, he's afraid of facing that fear. I mean, that's what I can see because everybody has suited up. Now, I got on here and I criticized James Harden for sitting out against Miami, and that's probably the only since he's been in Philly, he's actually been on his best behavior. I just don't like I don't like with the media how they try to make it seem that it was all James Harden and they had the audacity to say they're 5-0 with James Harden. Come on, man, let's stop it, man. Y'all lost one against Miami, and whether he suited up or not, he was still a part of the team, so he was there. Okay, so we need to stop trying to cover stuff up in the media or protect James Harden because we all know that before James Harden had came, we were winning, without him. So, that closes the castic on that one. But anyways, man, let me get back to Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, man, when I first seen him play, I mean, this guy was a remarkable talent, and I stand on what I said about him. I said if he gets a jumper, I mean, this guy would be a more athletic version of Mike Beasley. And Mike Beasley was hella athletic too. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, I mean, he wasn't like LeBron athletic or nothing like that, or you know, jumping that high, but he could get up too though. But with a jumper and with work, this guy could be phenomenal. But he's lacking something that a lot of these players in the league are lacking today, and that's mental capability, mental toughness. You know, I got to give LeBron James props. Okay, now when LeBron had to go back to Cleveland and face Cleveland, guess what? He played. When he was with Miami, he played, and he was the villain. He was considered a villain. I don't think people understand that LeBron was seen as the villain. He was seen as the villain. He was seen as the evildoer, whatever you want to call it, man. People weren't looking at him in a good light, especially how he had went uh, to Miami from Cleveland. He was even getting booed, you know, because people were like, you know, well, how could you, and all this other stuff, you know. But the one thing that I'll give him credit on is that he went in that situation and he was able to play, and that's what Ben Simmons needs to do. Hell, James Harden, you know, he went back to Houston and he played. Kyrie Irving went back to Brooklyn and he played. They took the L, but you know he still played. It makes no sense whatsoever. And I just find it strange that you're sitting out there and you're playing against mediocre competition, you know, to get ready to get yourself prepared and everything, knowing damn well you could get hurt in that situation. But now, now you in Brooklyn. Now you're happy, and now you're just sitting on the bench and everything. Okay, and they don't even know if you're gonna return by the end of March. And now you got back problems. You didn't have back. Look, back problems would be something like what Draymond Green is really struggling with. Now, we know he's struggling with his back, you know, or returning from surgery like Brooke Lopez to repair a bulging disc. Or in Kevin Durant's case, when it comes to his leg, he's had, you know, significant injuries that has taken place. And sometimes, you know, things could happen where he can bother it, or it might linger. You know, every now and then something might, you know, he might have tweaked it or something like that. You know, or did something or whatever. And I feel like that's gonna always mess with Kevin Durant because we're talking about the Achilles and we're talking about, you know, his um his lower extremity. But for you've never really had anything to say, okay, yeah, hell, okay, you had something that took place when you had first got to the Philadelphia 76ers, you and Joel Embiid. And now you want to start that stuff again. To me, you're perfectly fine. Look, you could get out there. Serge Ibaka's got back problems, and he's older than you. He's pretty much a seasoned vet. That's what a lot of people see him as. Some people say that he doesn't have that much left in the tank, but he's still out there hooping. He needs to man up, and he needs to face Philly, the organization that tried to to stand behind you, the organization that gave you that big ass contract. And a lot of that stuff you bring on yourself. You're talking about your back hurts. You're talking about you can't do this and you can't perform at that. I don't want to hear any of that. Look, now check this out. When it comes to Brooklyn, I mean, some people are really saying that Brooklyn might not even, they might run up into a team where they could potentially be put out. And I'm not saying it's the first round, but some people don't have Brooklyn going that far this year, much like Chicago. And everybody's like, "Oh yeah, well, wait till Ben Simmons get back." Look, you haven't played in the game. That that's what I don't understand about people. You sit up there and you say, "Oh yeah, well wait till Ben Simmons." No, they haven't played in the game together to know their chemistry, to know how each guy moves, to know each other's tendencies, to know where they like to have the ball. And there was a report that came out that said, they were concerned about Ben Simmons and his spacing along with Kevin Durant. And that's a good point. Got to think about spacing too. James Harden has came over to Philly. I criticize him heavily. I criticize him heavily, and he's happier now. Now, look, is he an opportunist? Yeah, he came over there. He saw an opportunity, and he jumped. He jumped on the team. And James Harden likes the stress to be off of him. I don't think James Harden likes the pressure of carrying a team and carrying a responsibility. Not unless you have some other guys. And pretty much, he's a complimentary player. He's a complimentary player that needs people around him. Pretty much, that's that's what he needs. That's why he's able to get 14, 15 assists or whatever. And I guarantee you, if those guys weren't making shots, if Embiid was off, if Maxi wasn't playing at the level that he was, I guarantee you he would be complaining. I'm just waiting for it to happen because everybody's like, "Wow, he's playing magnificent." Well, he was doing that when he was with Brooklyn when he first got there. They were like, "Whoa, what happened to the James Harden that was showing up overweight in Houston and everything? What happened to that James Harden?" But see, it was a matter of time before he started. You could clearly see that something was wrong and it wasn't on the same page. And then also, people were making excuses about about his injury and all this other stuff. Look, injuries are a part of the game, and some are worse than others. But here's my thing: I don't give every injury a pass because if John Morant could could get injured twice this season and still come back and play at a high level, what does that say about him? Or you got guys that are fighting to get back. You got guys like Clay Thompson being thrown in the fire, who some people feel like they're rushing him too fast. And see, now everybody's starting to see what I was seeing. I saw this in the beginning early. I said I don't like the way that they are bringing Clay along. You're talking about a guy that hasn't played in 2 years. So you expect this guy to come out there and automatically be like Clay Thompson, when they were Dub City and winning championships and stuff like that. You got to be smoking. But that's a whole nother story. But I'm just saying, my example for Clay is that at least he's fighting to get back. He's doing everything that he can to get out there. Back in the days, you had to force you had to force guys to sit down. Like if guys would be playing with broken bones, like Isaiah Thomas is another example. JMJ had brought him up, playing on a broke ankle. Michael Jordan, man, they was trying to limit his minutes and everything, and he was upset and he was disgusted. He wanted to get back in there. Dominique Wilkins, even though he tore his Achilles tendon, he was still fighting to get back to the level that he was. Giannis Antetokounmpo, even, you know, he hyperextended his knee. He was mad. He wasn't hurt. He was mad at the fact that he had to miss the game. That's the type of passion that Ben Simmons needs to have, and he doesn't exemplify that type of passion. He just wants to sit down. He wants things he wants to coast through and everything. And listen, I can't sit up here in front, man. James Harden has been on his best behavior. Did I like the fact that he sat out in Miami? No, I don't. I hated the fact that he sat out in Miami, but that was his decision. But when it comes playoff time, all this, sitting out and I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling that way, and stuff like that. Nah, You've had a chance to sit down all throughout the season. It's crunch time now. It's crunch time now. And see, the greats, they wanted to be in pretty much every game, especially when it comes to crunch time. They wanted to be in every single game, no matter what. You had guys, trying their best, like Grant Hill. He was working his best. Even we knew that Grant Hill wasn't the same, but guess what? He was fighting to get back. Anthony Hardaway, Penny Hardaway, back in the days, he was fighting to get back, even though he clearly wasn't the same. It's just a different mindset, a different mentality. Now you tell a player to sit down, man. They already done sat down before you even finish your sentence. Go sit down. They already at the end of the bench, got their towel and shit like that, like it's a damn blanket. To me, Ben Simmons he's a great talent and has the potential to be great. He could be damn great, but he does not have the mental makeup. He does not. It's something in his head. Like Draymond Green is doing everything that he can, to get back. Brooke Lopez is doing everything that he can to get back. I imagine. What's up with it, Big? Who, I see you in the building. I imagine, you know, Norman Powell, who got hurt with the Clippers. I imagine he's doing everything that he can to get back. Okay, because he's gonna have to grow chemistry with KD and Kyrie. Yes, it looks great on paper. It does. Some people are calling them when they get continuity going and when they get chemistry established and these guys start feeling themselves and everything and they play good with each other. Some people are calling them a contender, but that remains yet to be seen. And look, I don't like all this like sitting and stuff like that. White didn't sit out for Boston when he got traded, and guess what? He was playing like damn. I think the next day, Serge Ibaka, he suited up and played like the next day. These guys they got moved. Even Lamelo Ball, when he's out or something like that, guess what? He's fighting to get back. He's trying. He's doing everything that he can to get back. Ben Simmons ain't doing that. Joel Embiid, even him. As much as I get on Joel Embiid, and one thing that you can't say, you can't deny Joel Embiid's heart. Because it's gotten better, especially since his first couple of seasons in the NBA, and I credit LeVar Ball for that. But even Joel Embiid, he's willing to play on a torn meniscus. You know, he's playing on a torn meniscus in the playoffs with the season on the line. Right now, y'all don't have. I'm not gonna say your season is on the line, but a lot of people are questioning the Brooklyn Nets right now. They're questioning their leadership. They're questioning whether or not these guys really have the will and desire to beat any of the top teams in the East. They're nowhere near. I'm gonna be honest with you. They're nowhere near on the level of the Miami Heat. They're not. Now is Miami like invincible or indestructible? No, they're not. They can be beat, just like the Bucks can be beat. What's up with it, Jelly Bean? Everybody wants these guys to go out there. They want them to go out there and play a couple of games and then sit down. That's not what you play the game for. That's not what you play the game for. And Chris Broussard, who trips me out with some of the stuff he be saying, he's talking about, yeah, well, once they get rid of Russell Westbrook on LA, and they're gonna build around LeBron and AD. Come on, man. What you talking about? Build around AD, man. You dog, and that's what I mean. He too busy worried about sitting down. It's like he got more energy on the sideline than he do in the game. you, I mean, come on. It's like these guys enjoy sitting down, man. Like the people that I know that are really hardcore ballers, they don't want to have nothing. They don't want to sit down. They don't want to drink no water. They want to run up and down that floor. They want to work out. They want to, they like to get out and run. They like to sweat. You know what I'm saying? They like the physical contact. I know a guy. He said he just liked to be out, playing ball because he said he loved the contact. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what did you really get into the NBA for? Okay, yes, I can understand being young. If you're in your 20s, ball out. Yeah, I'm talking about in terms of money and getting the bag. Yeah, and enjoying the lavish things of life. Yes, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what many people do. Stupid people can't drive, man. Sorry about that. You're supposed to enjoy the lavish things of life. When you're young like that. But okay, now it's time to pipe down and get focused because see, now I'm glad they're showing the documentary when it comes to Showtime and the Lakers because in '79 Magic came in and guess what? His whole intent was to win championship. That's his first season. You know, when AI had came into the league, he's like, look, I want to destroy this league. I want to go after. I want to be the best dude. Not sit down on the sideline or and wait and I have this is I have a little bit of pain. Listen, there's a difference between having like a pain and an actual injury. It's a big difference. What Kawhi Leonard got and what Paul George got are injuries. They have injuries, and what Kawhi Leonard has, he actually Kawhi Leonard is I've been critical of him, but not I'm understanding of what kind of condition Kawhi Leonard has, but I'm realistic about the situation that we're dealing with Kawhi. His condition is never gonna it's never gonna get better. Unfortunately, it's not gonna get better. Degenerative knees. That's you know it's not gonna be any better for him, regardless of what he does, and that's unfortunate for him. And I know that he's thinking about that because Kawhi Leonard is a great talent, but the injuries that he's had, those are real injuries. Like, he has to really sit down. He has to be cautious about stuff like that. But you saying that, you having a little bit of pain or, you know, you you having some soreness and stuff like that. Come on, man. Come on. Come on with that. Then we gotta wonder if you're gonna be soft like like AD, or every time you get on the floor, every time you turn around, it's gonna be another injury like AD. We gotta wonder if that's gonna happen to you. You what Ben Simmons is gonna have to do is he's gonna have to really do some soul searching. He's gonna have to look into the mirror and decide whether or not he wants to play this game and how far he wants to go with this because his career's not up yet. He's still young, but the way it's going right now, unless he just has a good straight 5 years, I'll say a good 3 to 5 years of where he's really piping down, getting focused, and my last point, making it uh, a real goal to be dedicated to his craft. Then we could see him progress, and then we can say, okay, he's arrived. But until then, I don't see that happening. Polo Sports Talking Entertainment. I'll get at y'all later.